Well, good evening to anybody that's going to watch this probably later on in the replay. This is Jack Knight TV. I'm your host. So pretty much, I came on here tonight to try to help some people out, actually. Maybe give some advice. A lot of people are hurting. In fact, I'll say it right now because I'm very transparent in my videos here. I'm at rock bottom. There's literally no more money left in the maintenance account for me. I've been using money in my business account to funnel over to my home expenses. So as of right now, my move that I made, if this doesn't work out, I'm basically belly up. I'll end up having to become a company driver, and I can see like resetting my life again and having a bunch of debt and creditors calling me and everything again. So as of right now, everything's going good here at my new transition. The best thing I can give the best advice I can give everybody right now is, if you're an owner operator, hey, what's up, Cash? The best advice right now that I can give to everybody that's an owner operator or even thinking about becoming an owner operator in the industry is analyze your home expenses, analyze your expenses in general. Analyze what you think you're going to be spending on fuel, maintenance, repairs, and then purchase yourself a DAT account. Let's see. Yeah, thanks, Cash. Thanks. Well, I had this posted up here earlier, but somehow I deleted it when I went to go get in it a few minutes ago. So I don't know what I'm doing. I'm kind of YouTube illiterate here. So like I said, anybody that watches this on a replay, I already started this. I'm just trying to give some advice. Like where I am right now, I'm pretty much at rock bottom. My maintenance account has been wiped out. My business account is just about there. I'm still pulling money out of my business account to pay for my home expenses. I'm trying not to dip into home savings. So pretty much, this is it. If anything goes wrong, I'm basically in hot water, like with a lot of other people. I've had tons of breakdowns previously throughout the year. I started this game, I'm going to call it this game, late in the year in 2021, maybe just a few months before the market fell. And unfortunately, I had unforeseen events that happened. It slowly diminished my maintenance account down. And the whole market changed, and I tried to change with it. I was in reefer, and reefer dropped. I moved over to flatbed. Flatbed was doing okay for a while. Now, I guess everybody else jumped over to flatbed and flooded the market within flatbed. So, even though trucking as a whole, you have reefer, you have flatbed, you have dry van, and you have specialized and certain other little niches, bed buggers and everything. They're still closed markets. They're still markets within themselves. So if everybody moves to one or the other, there's just so much capacity that can't take up the need for freight and generously takes up the need for freight. So that being said, I'm going to try to give out some tips, things that I've tried to follow. But obviously, even if you kind of know what you're doing, you still can screw up. Basically, right now, if you've ridden it out this long, right now, there's no turning back. I would say, if you've already waited this long and have your truck payment and your trailer payment and everything, and you're still in it right now, you might as well just try to weather the storm, because there's really no turning back now. Truck prices are falling. The most of the people are getting the hint on YouTube. Most of the new guys jumping in, they already see the rates have fallen. If you were planning to get out of this and sell your truck and sell your DOT numbers and whatnot and jump ship, that was months ago. I would say we're looking at like 6 months ago. So if you didn't get out of this now 6 months ago, you're pretty much in it now for the long haul. Either you're going to make it, or you're going to have your truck repoed or whatnot. That's just what it is. And I'm not trying to say that. Like I said, I'm not trying to make this a downer video, but you should, if you really honestly think that's going to happen, you should probably start taking precautions now and set yourself up to weather the storm, whether that be as an owner operator or a company driver, or even getting out of trucking altogether. Because if you're a family man or a woman, there's a lot more at risk than just losing your truck and stuff. Financially, that's just what happens with matters like this, especially if you're married and you have a wife or a husband or whatnot. So that being said, if you're looking to get in this is what I'm saying to new owner operators. If you're looking to become an owner operator right now, I hope you have lots and lots of money and connections. Preferably, know the right people, have actual shippers lined up, friends that own businesses or whatnot, things that you can actually get into right now and lock in like a rate. But spot market, for the most part, spot market right now is turned into backhauls, really. If you don't have a shipper, you're pretty much dead in the water unless your costs are so cheap that you can support $1.50 to $2 a mile. And with the way now I'm going to say fuel has come down a little bit. I predicted it was going to still continue to go up, but hey, it's done this before. It's been fluctuating back and forth, so don't count on that either. But as of right now, the main thing you can do is cut your costs. Cut your costs through your business. Cut your costs at home. Get rid of Netflix. Even the little things add up. Between Netflix, AMC, whatever you're paying for, could easily add up to $200 a month in subscriptions that you have between TV, internet, and whatever else you guys are, or girls are signed up to out there. Let's see, DAT right now, lots of guys are probably got tons of load boards. If you could find a cheaper load board right now, I would try to find a more, well, DAT is not too bad, but I know, like, what was it that I had there for a while? Internet Truck Stop. That was like $100 and some a month. Try to cut out some load boards. They're the same thing. What I've noticed with a couple load boards I had, because I had DAT, I had 123, I had Internet Truck Stop. When the market started getting bad, even in the flatbed market, because that's usually what Internet Truck Stop's pretty good for, is flatbed and everything else. Everything was the same across all the load boards. It really didn't matter. They were just multiple postings of the same loads. So try to cut back on that. Try to cut back on your fuel usage. Don't idle your truck. Just don't do it. Like right now, I'm here at the truck stop, and it's like 60 degrees out, maybe 58, something like that, and here in Virginia / North Carolina state line. Everyone's idle in their truck. I don't know why. They just are. All that adds up. Slow your speed down. These are all normal things we've all heard before. If you can afford it, try to buy better rolling resistance tires. I'm even thinking about maybe getting the hub caps or the wheel caps. I know they're going to look ugly, but it is what it is. these are just little things that add up over time. Maintenance, keep on top of maintenance, because right now, when you're hurting, you don't need that unexpected breakdown to happen. That's a big, it's a big chance it could possibly happen. That's another big thing that could, easily take you out of the game. Uh, Now, depending on whether you're have your own authority or you're leased onto a carrier. Now, let me talk about these two a little more in detail, because like we've all heard, slow down. Try to put what the heck those netted mud flaps on and covers and everything, and sure they help, but to really basically keep you from losing your business, you're going to have to cut costs. You might have to sell some stuff. You might have to sell your new car. You might have to sell your jet ski. You might have to sell your side-by-side. I don't know who's buying the stuff, because I know if I go up on Facebook Marketplace right now, I'm finding side-by-sides. I can pick up a 5 or 6 year old, about 10-year-old. I can pick up about a 5 to 10-year-old Polaris side-by-side, 800, 900. For like $5,000, and they usually go, they usually go for like $10,000 used up where I live, just because the market's falling. Nobody has money to play with, so things are just starting to take people are taking a loss on stuff. Now, that being said, that's things you can do at home. If you got yourself in so much debt, you might actually have to call some of these credit card companies up, call some of these business card companies up, and negotiate them. Tell them that you're gonna have to not pay them for a month and skip over a month and make payments. Your truck payment right now is, if you can keep making money, that's going to be your primary thing to keep up with. Like I was saying before, if you have an authority, try to find it. Try to search for insurance right now. Try to cut costs that way through insurance. If you're paying any of these services, these companies, maybe factoring is a little hard. If you're already in the hole, you obviously can't actually push your bills back 30 days and wait for a broker to pay you. But if you can maybe find a cheaper factoring company or lower rates, try to do that. If you're paying for any safety services that you think you can do yourself, or permits that you can do yourself, save the money, do them. All this stuff adds up over time. That's if you're got your own authority. And to be honest, if you have your own authority, it might be time to hang it up. It might be time to lease on to somebody. I would have thought by this time last year, when I got into this, I would have my authority by now. I didn't think everything was going to go downhill like this. That being said, I'm still here, even with all the problems I've had with the truck and everything. I'm still persevering. I've went from reefer to flatbed. Now I'm back to reefer. The best thing you do, I would say, if you have your authority and you're really hurting, and you're only playing off spot market, you don't have any direct shippers or know anybody or have any direct contacts, I would say put your authority on hold. Do it the right way. Send a letter. I forget what they call it. I had to do it before, but you have to send them. You have to go on the FMCSA website, fill out the form, and them the form, or you can print it out and send it to them. And that's the first step to putting your authority on hold. They'll also send you back a certificate that you have to give to your insurance company, because your insurance company will not stop your insurance until they have that certificate from the FMCSA. I would wish I had the stuff in front of me. I'd like to give some numbers here to try to help some people out, but I don't right now. It's all sitting at home in a lockbox. So that being said, if you have your own authority and you're hurting, I think it's time to try to sign on to somebody. I hate to say that. It's just looking like that way. And I don't mean anybody. I don't mean some no-name Chicago carrier. If you have a friend that has their own authority and actually has direct freight and direct shippers, uh, you know, sure, if they're doing good and they can prove it to you, sign on with them. Me personally, I left the carrier I was with. They do have direct shippers and direct freight and everything, but it's just not as much as the amount of people that signed on. They have more people signed on with them right now than they actually have direct freight. So they were running the spot market too. And slowly people are starting to return their trucks and their trailers. You can see it like in the last video when you see the parking lot. And it's not nothing against them. It's just the market, and they just didn't grow fast enough than the amount of drivers that they hired, or owner operators. So if you're finding that you're having this problem with whoever you're leased onto, it might be time to try to find a direct carrier. Now that's what I did. Right now I am with a direct carrier. That's all they do is Tyson. You see in the thumbnail? That's it. Tyson. I haven't stopped since Monday. I picked up an empty from Pottsville, brought it down to Temperaceville, Virginia, to a plant, dropped the empty, picked up a load there, and I delivered it to, the load actually went to a waste management landfill. I guess they had to get rid of some chicken bits or something, I don't know. But I'm getting paid loaded, I'm getting paid empty. I have there's no percentage taken out. I have a fuel surcharge around 70 cents a mile right now. Most of the miles I've done so far have been $2.43 a mile. So you add the fuel surcharge in there, I'm doing about $3.13 to $3.20 a mile. So I'm gonna probably end up putting a lot more miles on for the week. During the height of the spot market, I could easily run like 2,500 miles and make 10 to 13 grand. I doubt I'm going to do that here right now with this, but guess what? Before I even drop the load off, dispatch sends me a text. I already have my pickup. I already know where. They give the address. I already know where to go. I'm paid for the deadhead miles. Like right now, I'm going to drop off at Walmart down here in, I want to say Willowsboro, North Carolina, off of 85 and 1. I'm going to drop off here, and then I got a deadhead 175 miles to another plant to pick up a trailer that's already, ready, good to go. I get paid to go out there. I get paid, I don't have to pay reefer fuel. That's the kind of thing you're going to have to find here. And if that means maybe signing on to people we might not find favorably good, such as Swift, go ahead, call Swift up, see what they have to offer. I don't know how Swift runs their owner operator game, but I don't know if they do it by mileage or if they do it by percentage. But start calling some of these bigger carriers up, because what's going to happen here eventually is, given time, guys are going to start failing, and when they start failing, either they're on their owner either they're on their authority or as a lease driver or lease purchase driver, they're going to start trying to find these carriers too. Eventually, these carriers are going to have a hiring freeze, and when that happens, you're locked out of the direct customer market unless you can find it yourself. It's like what DIY said. It's pretty much what's on the board right now are all backhauls. That's just what's out there. But if you can survive somehow, some way through 2023, maybe hopefully not 2024, but who knows what's going to happen. There will be better times. The rates are going to have to somehow, I'm not saying they're going to come up a lot, but they're going to come up, or fuel's going to go down, hopefully. One or the other. Something's got to give. Because if it gets any worse, which it could, the way the economy is, and signs and things that I've been reading about. Let's see, Fox News Business just did a whole segment about credit card debt is at a 25-year high. Most people are probably using credit card debts to subsidize inflation right now, and things they're paying for. That's eventually that debt's going to be called. Just like all these car notes that everyone has, these truck notes, this is all going to get called. And when it gets called, these banks are going to end up with all this excess inventory. And when that happens, the banks are going to panic. And hopefully we don't have another bailout like we had previously, because that's just going to hurt inflation, I think, even more. So, like that being said, this is all connected. This isn't just a broker problem. This isn't just, a political problem. This is everything come together in one thing. And the only way I would say is at least survive it through the midterm. Well, not the midterm, but at least the midterm of this year. Well, the end of this year, I guess you could say. It's only a month, really. And into 2023 is either start going out and getting yourself actual shippers, customers, and people are always like, oh yeah, go out and get your own customers, but I mean, actually call people up, try to have discussions with them, just randomly start calling businesses up, and be professional when you call them. Say, hey, I can offer a team, or I can offer something that people would not normally call up and offer. Tell them that you live nearby. Tell them that you can be there every day, or anything, just anything to get your foot in the door. And I'm not saying call up like Kellogg's or let's see, or Costco, Walmart. You're never going to get into those unless you have a huge carrier and a huge presence, or trailer pool. But just locally, smaller businesses, these small little warehouse districts are in your area. Just start randomly calling people up, and introduce yourself professionally. If you have your authority, this is a lot easier, because I can tell you, when I was leased on to the other carrier, when you start trying to find direct customers and direct shippers while you're signed on to a carrier, it's kind of a gray area. You don't know whether or not they're going to take it from you, or even let you have it, or whether or not they want you to run their credit and stuff. When you're running the show, it's a totally different story. Let me try to get some comments here. I figured I was trying to do this so I could at least see what what people are saying, and man, I really wish I had a better light here. Oh. Well, it's bright now. Let me get the comments. All right, we're gonna go up the top. I know Cash shot in here. Let's see here. Yeah, money is sexy. Let's see. This truck and life's in the house. Nomadic Bread, yo, what's up? He said, I saw that Saudi Arabia is thinking of cutting oil production, so getting ready for fuel to go up again. Yeah. Yep, they run the market. Let's see, Nomadic Life, Nomadic. I'm just running through this real quick, guys. Looks like Nomadic's going to make almost $300,000 this year in profit, and probably net 135. Those are really good numbers. Nomadic's trucks paid off. Yo, what's up, Sterling? Yeah, I'm not. If you watch the beginning part, I kind of laid it out there. I set myself up to better. I gave myself like a safety net, making this move here, but I'm already in the hole. I should have done this at least a month sooner, or maybe 2 months sooner. I let this play out. I thought the market would correct itself a little bit, and it seems like, I figured more people would drop out than hang in here, but it seems like either capacity is so far through the roof, or people are able to hang in here a little bit longer than than what the actual market is able to, keep going. So that being said, yeah, I ended up making a switch to a different carrier with direct freight. Went from flatbed to reefer. So, let's see here. Jerome Jones. You didn't miss much, Jerome. You can watch it on the replay. It's just me haphazardly trying to, give pointers, ways to keep from going out of business, really. Mostly a lot of guys are going to say get direct shippers and get direct shippers, and that's great if you have your own authority, you can do that. But to do that, you're going to have to take like a whole day off. You can't drive. You're going to have to take a whole day off. You're going to have to go through Google Maps and just maybe glance at an area you're in a lot, or that you can get out to a lot with a decent rate, and just start calling up shippers. I don't mean, like I said, I don't mean like Costco, Walmart and stuff. I mean like I'm trying to think of like small stuff that might actually sign a one carrier on or something. I don't know, it's just like look at these, pull up Google Maps and go through these little industrial parks that are out by where you live, or an area you can get out to, and just call them up professionally. Hey, my name is blah blah blah. I'm with blah 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 transport. Right off the bat, try to give a reason you can serve them better. Maybe you're a team. Maybe they're having problems. Maybe they have something that they can't get shipped. Maybe just do it for them just to get your foot in the door. That's fine if you're not already really hurting. Like if you're already at drop dead bottom, you don't know how you're going to pay next month's truck payment. I don't know how you're going to be able to take a whole day off. But if you're already there, like I said, 6 months ago was pretty much the time to put your truck up for sale, and pass it on to the next guy to try to figure out how he's going to make it. That I feel that's kind of gone. It's pretty much either make it or lose it all right now. Like I said, there's not the influx of new guys coming into the market. Sorry, I was holding on to that for like 5 minutes. There's not a influx of guys coming in the market now. People are starting to get the hint that the spot market's going south. So that being said, you're gonna have to weather through the storm somehow. Whether you can't let's say you can't get rid of your semi truck, and you got a brand new Chevrolet sitting at home with 25,000 miles on it, and you still owe 50 grand or 40 grand or 30 grand or whatever to it, you might have to get rid of it. If you already have a high enough truck payment and you got $700 or $800 a month car payments at home, you might have to actually get rid of that stuff. That doesn't mean you're never going to have it again. You just might not have it for a year or two. Like I said, who knows? We might go into next year and rates might go up, or fuel might drop, and we might see it balance itself out a little bit here. But right now, the only way you're going to really weather through this is automatically assuming the worst, and you're going to have to cut all costs, everything, the little things, the big things. If you can change your insurance, if you can let's see what else, maybe some of the services you purchase for your authority, whether that be maybe a safety program or a drug custodian. Maybe look into switching it to somebody cheaper. Maybe look into some of these permits, instead of having a place order these permits or do your IFTA for you and stuff. Maybe try to figure out how to do it yourself. I know it's only like maybe you're talking about a couple $100 here and there, but it adds up. Especially now when tires are like $600, $700, $800 a piece. That being said, tires, try to get a discount program. Try to shop around. I'm not saying right now maybe buy the cheapest tires, but try to look up the tire you're buying and I'm trying to think of the website. I think it's called Safeway. Go on the Safeway's website and research some of these tires you're buying. I've actually found no name tires, or less name tires, if you want to call it that, on the Safeway website that have very low rolling resistance and are tested. And I'm talking about tires that are like in the $350 range, $400 range a piece, $295, $75, $22.5. You're gonna have to buy some of this stuff offline, but look it up. Chrome. If you're buying chrome right now, it's probably not a good idea to be buying. Now, I'm not talking here. One thing, I don't want guys to come on here and be like, oh, you can't make it, or the other guys can't make it, or something. I'm not talking to the guys that are doing heavy haul. I'm not talking to the guys with the Peterbilt 379s that are, doing a 2,000 mile heavy haul load. It's paying like 30 grand. Those guys are in a totally different league. And you know what though? Even from what I've heard, even some of their rates have been getting a little wonky. But I'm talking about the regular guy that hauls dry van that's been running off the spot market for the last maybe 3 years, or 2 years, or whatnot, or maybe even longer. And has a truck that probably gets 5 to 6 miles a gallon, and is sitting there. Hopefully doesn't have payments on it, but if he does, it is sitting there wondering, how am I gonna keep going? How am I gonna actually profit more than a company driver? Because to be honest, it might happen. You might have to actually pay yourself less than a company driver to keep your business going. And if you don't want to do that, you're going to have to find an exit strategy without ruining your credit, especially if you'd like to become an owner-operator again. And you're going to have to get out of this and become a company driver. Or, like I said, lease on to somewhere that can provide you a steady freight. Like this. I would have never thought in a million years to go and look at a direct carrier. I never even heard of this carrier. But somehow I found them on Craigslist of all places. And now Craigslist, I've actually gotten a lot of decent trucking jobs off of Craigslist and owner-operator positions. But with Craigslist, you got to read the fine print and read between the lines. You could pretty much easily call out the legitimate companies are just looking for someone that doesn't want to pay hundreds of dollars to post your ad, or you got to look through the lines for the scammy company that's just throwing total nonsense out there on Craigslist. Just so happens I came across this company that said dedicated freight. That said if I wanted to, I could be home almost every day. And I clicked on the company and researched a little bit and found out they mostly do Tyson and a lot of grocery warehouses. And I automatically figured if they're, saying they could probably get you home every night, they have to have some kind of direct freight. And here comes out they're practically a direct shipper, or a direct carrier for Tyson. So that being said, Tyson's going to definitely weather the economy. I don't think they're going to have any problems. If Tyson has problems, I would say we're all in it for. The end is nigh. So as of right now, I think I set myself up in a good spot. Like I would suggest most of you do. Swallow your pride, because like I said, I thought I would have my own authority by now. I still have 2 friends that if I could get trucks that I could hire, they'd be perfectly fine with leaving where they're at and driving for me. But I don't see that happening this year. If it would have stayed like it was a year ago, yeah, I would have probably eventually had my authority by now, and I would have at least 2 trucks. Whether I financed them or bought them cash, I know the one I'd probably have to finance because he's a little picky on what he drives. The other guy, as long as it keeps the cold air out and AC works, he's not too worried about it. But yeah, I didn't think I'd find myself in this situation, which I'm I imagine a lot did, and it sucks because I don't have no side by sides. I don't have no new Dodge pickup truck. I don't have no ski-doos, no nothing. I just bought a truck that had a lot of problems there in the beginning, and just so happens the market, I just got in at a bad time. The repairs and maintenance and stuff followed the decline of the market. Because like I said there in the beginning, I was doing rates from when I was in reefer. I was doing $5,500 from Chicago to New Jersey. I had a few weeks that were, you know, what was that one week? It was almost 15,000. It was I think 14.6 or something, or 14.8. $15,000 a week. You take a percentage out of that. You take the fuel out of that. I think I grossed a little over $10,000. Next thing you know, next week the power divider goes. There goes 7 or 8 grand right there between labor and the even though it was used. Because right now everybody else, they all raised their rates up too. So, and then you're talking about a week of no revenue. I still got to pay the carrier their trailer rental. Still got to pay the insurance premium. So you're talking about right there's like $800 for the week. So even though I'm not running, there's an $800 cost. Yeah, and yeah, that's how that goes. So, me personally, am I a failure? Maybe not. I'm not where I wanted to be. I'm not where I thought this market would still go. I didn't think the rates would stay as high as they were, but I also didn't think they would drop off as fast as they did. I figured we at least had another year of them slowly declining. But hey, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So I see, man, I got a lot of comments here. Let's see. We'll start off where I said Nomadic Bricks trucks paid off. Let's see. This Trucking Life. Schneider is doing either 5 or 8K sign-on for lease to tanker yanker. I just can't afford the SFI program. Yeah, that's that could change too. I'm not saying that maybe you should take that jump, but there's other options out there. Like like I didn't think. I got very lucky with this because most companies that have direct shippers and stuff, they will not take a truck that is, we'll say, below a 2010, maybe 2015 or whatnot. This carrier I'm with will accept a 2005 and up truck. Amazingly. Now, all the guys that signed on with me, they probably all had like 2017. The one had a 2020 Cascadia. The one was a T680 2017. The other one was a 2016 Cascadia. Like everybody there that signed on with me when I was at orientation all had newer trucks. I was the only one with an old truck, and so far the couple that I've seen at these Tyson plants, they're all newer trucks. I would say 2016 and up. I'm the only oddball guy. Now, you go on their Facebook page, they got a few guys with 379s, the 389s or whatever they are, newer ones probably running around, or they were grandfathered in from previous years. But I got very lucky with this direct carrier that they would accept an older truck. Let's see. Let's see. Jerome Jones. CRL is being a little difficult to add them on my insurance. Oh yeah. Well, I can tell you if you have Jerome Jones. If you have, who is it? OIDA. You're probably gonna have to switch insurance companies. The biggest thing you're probably having a problem with is they want you to add them to their. Oh, how can I put it? I'm trying to think of the way to put it. The best bet you can do is, I don't know if you're talking to Chuck, call Penny up in the office and talk to Penny, and she'll try to walk you through it, or actually email you an example of what they want on the insurance. Now, you might have to change your insurance company. I know there's a few guys that were, if you want to keep your authority, because you can sign on to CRL with your authority. You get I think another 10 cents a mile or something like that. I'm off the top of my head. I don't know. I really didn't pay attention to it because I'm on my authority right now. But like I said, you can keep your authority. If you can, this is perfect. If you can keep your authority and sign on to a Swift, a Schneider, or something as a backup carrier or something, or coincide with them. That's probably the best bet if you have your authority right now, to try to keep going, keep in business. I'm trying to think what the actual subsidiary company is. I want to call it KBL and Sons is the actual subsidiary company you're actually dealing with. But hey, I'm not going to endorse them yet. I've only ran 3 loads now with them, so so far everything's going good. I'll find out when I get my check. After I drop off here in Walmart, like I said, I have to deadhead and then pick up a trailer. I'm going to head up to Boston, about 900 miles from South Carolina. So we'll see what this week's check is, and I don't know. I guess we'll go from there. It's going to at least take a month before I can really endorse them. If you want to try it out yourself and take a shot at it, go right ahead. Because at this point, I'm sure there's a lot of people that just have nothing else to lose. If you can make it work, great. Like I said, I'm not going to go out and give them a full endorsement right yet. Like I said, maybe after a few weeks or a month, I'll go from there. But even then, I don't like endorsing people because everybody has their own way they do things. Some people are just set in their ways, and it might not work out for you, and I don't want to get blamed for it. So it's just the way it is. I'm like I said, I'm real like that. I don't want to be the one supposedly throwing anyone under the bus, if you want to call it that. Okay, Drone Jones said, difficult. Yeah, it is, but there's a reason. It's very rarely do you find a carrier willing to sign on people that have their own authority. It doesn't usually happen. Let's see. Here's Ed. So my situation is I have my own authority, but I had a truck breakdown. I'm thinking of going to get another truck, but I'm not sure whether I just stay company for now or not. Ed, I would say stay company and try to, if you still have your own truck, if you still have your truck, I would say try to stay company and try to slowly fix it. Try to save up some money, get it worked on while you're staying company. And then, when it's really roadworthy, if you want to try to make that leap and get your authority and come back out here, the first thing I would do, if anybody's coming out here right now, before you get your authority or anything, see if you can get on DAT. See if you can pay for it, if they'll let you on like a free subscription or whatnot, just to see what the market's doing out there and see what lanes you want to run and everything. And that'll definitely give you a better bird's eye view of the market, and so you can see it firsthand whether or not you think you can make it work. That, and sit down and add up what you need to make at home to keep the home bills happy. Like I said, if you got $1,000 a month car payment, and then now you're going to have a $2,000 a month semi truck payment, and another $1,000 or $1,500 a month trailer payment, and so on and so on and so on and so forth. This probably ain't the market you want to get into to be doing that. Now, if you have a paid off car, a wife doesn't want to go on Disney World vacations every year, stuff like that, and you're committed to running your business and keeping it afloat, then sure, find your expenses, write up your numbers, try to give the worst case scenario that you can still profit and keep your business afloat and your home expenses going. And if you can, if you can see the market staying at that rate, go ahead and do it. But if you're just going to randomly go out and buy a truck, any truck you can get because you don't have good credit or whatnot, and just plow through this right now, this is not the market. This is not the market to do it in. This is a very unforgivable market. It's not your regular bad market per se. It's if fuel wasn't so high, it would probably be easier to weather this. But there's just so many uncertainties right now. I would not say just go out and get a Lone Mountain truck and plow into this, because if you have breakdowns or anything go wrong, there's no wiggle room. There's no real room unless you have huge pockets. There's no room to make mistakes and learn from them in this market right now that we're in. It's just the way it is. Let's see, where was I up at? I'm sorry, I'm wasn't really planning on reading. I didn't actually think this many people would come in. Yeah, I'll talk about the new job later. I'm not going to get into too much about it. Let's see, Nomadic Brit. Jack, how long have you been in the industry, and have you seen things this bad? I've been in it since, well, technically I've been in it since a little bit before 2013, so we'll say the end part of 2012. I would say 2015 was, I don't want to say this is the worst it's been. I would say this is, all right, what's really making this bad right now? It's not necessarily, because trucking's always been like this. They've always had ups and downs. What's making it so bad right now is there's no wiggle room for rates. Shippers have already spent way over budget between the last 2 years with COVID and everything. They're all trying to recuperate their losses, but also at the same time, inflation's going up. You have credit card rates and mortgage rates, and that also includes business rates and everything. They're going up, so the businesses have to take that into account. There's just so many variables right now coming together for a perfect storm. It's hard to really say whether or not it's not necessarily the industry that's gone bad. It's just everything. It's just decisions were made early on in the pandemic that caused this to happen. And I was kind of hoping that the economy got moving fast enough and grew fast enough that this wouldn't happen. But it seems like it didn't really grow at all. It seems like everything was a fairy tale, and we just kept throwing more money into the pot and hoping the problem disappeared. And I think it's like a, how can I put it up as an analogy? It's like a snowball that started rolling downhill, and I guess we put a few rocks in front of it to stop it, but it still kept going. It slowed it down a little bit, but now we got a snowball with a bunch of rocks in it coming barreling down the hill. And so now, in my opinion, it's 10 times worse than what it was. I know it's a pretty dumb analogy, but that's the only thing I could say. Before in other markets, you could make smart business decisions and still make it. In this market, you have to make smart business decisions to make it. The problem, though, is there's no wiggle room. If you have a catastrophic breakdown and you're already, you don't have a huge, I'd like to say a huge savings account, but I did. I had like $25,000 saved up just for repairs and stuff. The problem is tires have gone doubled in price. You got your fuel, labor's gone through the roof, and on top of that, it's just, shops don't have enough people in them to work. So now your truck's sitting there even there longer and you're losing revenue while you still have inflation at home with, going every time you go grocery shopping and stuff. You that nest egg that you built yourself will only last so long now that, if things are going out of it faster than coming in, you have a problem. So that's what I guess I'm trying to say here is it's harder to keep that shoveling, and and putting money in the bank because you got so many things working against you here in this market compared to other ones. Like I know when 2018 happened. All right, so everybody was doing great. Near the end of 2018, it dropped off pretty good. Most of the guys that were really hurting at the end of 2018 were guys that just went out there and got these, brand new Lone Mountain trucks and had, $3,000 a month payments and bought trailers for, just went all out. Most of those guys were the ones that were really hurting. And then of course you had the few that had, were the unlucky and just had problems after problems that put them out. But at least you could still survive through 2019 there. But now it's kind of almost getting like, I'm hoping it doesn't happen. I'm hoping that things don't drop off. Because like I said, I don't see the economy doing better. I don't see purchasing power going up and people, putting additions on their houses or businesses deciding I'm going to get a 25% interest rate because rates are so high through the roof and I'm going to build a new addition to my business. I just don't see the economy pushing forward. So that means less loads, but we still have super high capacity. It's going to have to weed itself out, and only the strongest are going to survive right now. People that made good business decisions that can actually make sacrifices. This isn't what I wanted to do. I didn't want to go back to reefer. So far, it's working out pretty good. Everything I've done so far has pretty much been drop and hook. This Walmart, I'm pretty sure this Walmart isn't a drop a hook. I'm pretty sure it's a live load. But I'm only anticipating maybe being there 2 hours the most because I have that name on the side of the truck that says, well, not the truck, but on the name of the trailer that says Tyson. So I'll probably be in and out of there pretty quick. As it goes on, I will see if this turns into a normal reefer, thing where you're there for 8 hours while they take 4 hours with the doors wide open to count the load and all that bull crap. But I liked flatbed. I liked being physical. I was hoping I would lose some freaking weight because I don't remember having these about 10 years ago. So we I liked the camaraderie. I liked that people were happy to see you. So far, since I'm mostly dealing with Tyson people, they and I'm like a direct carrier, they're pretty much treating me like I'm just part of their company. They give me door codes. I walk in places. Everybody says hi. Nobody gives me an attitude. That's something you don't usually have when you're doing reefer or dry van. So far that's been nice about that. But like I said, what I liked about flatbed is, you got loaded, you got unloaded. People were happy to see you, and you had like a sense of getting the job done. And that's something I thought I was going to lose. So far, it doesn't seem like I've lost it. I mean, I didn't want to, like I said, I didn't want to deal with the normal reefer bull crap, like like going to a CNS or something like that and hurry up and wait and crap. But like I said, you might have to, if you've been home lately all the time, and I'm sure a lot of guys were taking off when you have a $15,000 a week, you can afford to take the next week off. Those you're gonna have to throw everything out the window. You're gonna have to say, "Hun, the market's doing bad. For my business to survive and for me to keep, maybe that we can have a Disney World vacation next year or whatever, a cruise or whatnot. I'm gonna have to be out more. I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to do that." I hate to say that, but it's just the way it is right now. Only the strong are gonna survive. The ones that are willing to make sacrifices are gonna survive. Guys that just automatically are like, "Oh no, I have no money. I'm gonna fail." It's a whole mentality thing that's gonna happen right now. If you already are looking at it and you're like, "God damn, I'm gonna make as much as a company driver or less." If you're already looking at that and are aggravated and you have high truck payments and stuff like that, you're going to want to give up. You're going to be like, oh, I might as well be a company driver. And as soon as you start thinking that way, that's when you're going to start having problems. That's when you're going to really start failing, not caring, not wanting to get up, not wanting to get to the shipper on time, and you're just, you're going to quit. You're going to look at the truck. You're going to get angry at the truck every time you see it. You're going to feel like a failure, and you're going to start letting things go. And now that you're already in the hole and you start letting things go in the truck, that's when shit's going to happen, and that's when you're going to go out of business. I know. I kind of know this from just personal thoughts, I guess you could say. All right, I'm going to try to catch up the comments here. I know I'm rambling on here. Let's see here. Let's see where I left off at. Let's see. This trucking life. I got my old FedEx job from Craigslist. Best job I ever had. Yep. Pneumatic brake. Chrome don't get you home. That's for sure. Wheel Burner Express. You buy what you can afford, not what you're dreaming of. Yep. And you know what? I would even go a step further with that, and I would buy what you necessarily need, and that's about it right now. Whatever's gonna, keep you going. See, they're talking about wheel burner. See, I'm loading in Ohio. Okay. Hey, what's up, F8? It's going all right. Didn't really miss anything. Like I said, I'm just rambling on here in this video. Talking about pneumatic brakes. Talking about wheel burner. Let's see. This trucking life. Jerome Jones, have you signed up to run power only with Landstar? I did a couple power onlys with them this year. The van as well requires insurance. Okay, they're talking about the insurance thing. Keep on going here. Will Burner's talking about where he's at. Everyone's saying hi. This trucking life. SFI trucks are nicely spec'd, but for $56K a year, that's just holy crap! $56K a year. Well, nothing like what? I guess that's little over $1,000 a week there. Let's see. Jerome Jones, TTL. I did a carrier packet with Landstar. Okay, so he's doing a carrier packet with Landstar with power only. That's what this basically is. I'm power only right now. I run dedicated for Tyson power only, I guess you could say. That's what CRL is right now. I'm basically a dedicated. Now, like I said, you can also do that with your authority if you want to too. You don't get too much more out of it. I think it's a few cents or 10 cents. I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, I didn't really look into it that much. But there were guys that had their own authority that jumped over here when I was in orientation. That were talking about they were saying the market was bad too. Let's see. Pneumatic brick. This trucking. Okay, he's talking about this trucking life. Truck was brand new through SFI, but they kept asking me to do. I want another one, but I tell them I'm not. Oh, okay. So pneumatic bricks turning down a truck from SFI. Let's see. Ed here. So if I let this authority go the right way, then I come back, however long that is. Will the authority start over from scratch, or will I keep the time that I have? I think as soon as you let I think that what they count, they don't really count the authority. They count what they're really looking at is how long insurance is kept on the authority. Ed, I don't know what you're trying to do. What you might be able to do is if you can sign on somewhere, and or like I said, if you can keep your authority and sign on somewhere to like power only you, like here will, you could probably survive and still keep your authority and everything, and as long as you're paying insurance on it, it'll still builds up. That's really what brokers and everybody's looking at, is how long you've had your insurance. Not necessarily the authority, but how long that authority has had insurance across it. Usually as soon as you let insurance drop on an authority, it sends a red flag up, and it's almost like restarting all over again. Now, I'm saying if you let it drop. Now, if you let it go the right way and send FMCSA the letter, or you email them that, I don't remember the exact numbers on the paper that they have, but if you send them and put the authority on hold and do it the right way, you're not like dropping the insurance, but you are letting it go, and you do kind of, I think, you do almost start over again from zero, if I remember correctly. If anybody else knows in the comments, put that out there. I would have found that out now, because like I said, I was planning to have my own authority back now. I let it drop. I had it for about three months, and then the pandemic hit, and when I saw what was going on, I said, whoa, I'm backing out of this now. I didn't want to be stuck paying insurance and not having any freight to run. And that's pretty much why I got out of it. I almost wish I held in there now that I saw what happened. I'd have been in so much better place than I am now. I still had problems with the other truck and ended up with this truck, so I still would have had these problems, but I don't know. Maybe I had more money in the bank. Who knows what would have happened with that. Let me try to go back up. Okay, so I'm catching up the comments here. Okay. No, Brennick, has everyone hit the thumbnails up? Yeah, I mean, if you can, go ahead and hit the thumbnails up. I know this isn't like the best live feed. I'm just going like, I literally, when I started this, I got done in the shower. I was hoping to only be here maybe an hour, but I can go on a little bit more. I can live off 6 hours of sleep. That's about what I'm good for anyway. Usually if I sleep more, I'm more tired when I wake up anyway. Let's see here. Go back where I was at. See, Chas, hello. Good analogy. We put a few rocks out, yeah. Let's see. Hey, Shannon Thomas is in the house. I hope she's doing all right. Last time I heard, you were going down to Florida. Jerome Jones. Jerome, sign up for the Landstar One app and search for the okay, this is this trucking's talking to Jerome. Egg, I like your analysis of where the market's at and why it's here. Often people go on a crazy political biased opinions about what really going on. Great live, enjoy. Thanks, Ed. I try not to go political because you know what? Most people are going to have their own opinion no matter what. What I would like to see, if everybody could just put their side differences, like, I'm trying to think here. All right, I'm going to try to make another analogy. So you got Eagles and you got Dallas. Both most hated fans, loyal, but, they hate each other no matter what. If you could just put your differences aside, and when the game's over, no matter who won and lost, can sit down at a bar and have a beer together and bullshit about who threw what interception, who threw what pass, and who's better, and what coach was shitter this year, and who threw this up. If we could just all sit down and look at things logically, whether or not who is right and who is wrong, and just pick a logical conclusion, the world would be a much better place. But instead, we got these ideologies that are, one's too far right, one's too far left, and there's no middle ground anymore. So, to be honest, most of the stuff that's going on in the world is because we took common sense and we just thrown it out the window. One wants to go so far this way, and the other one wants to go so far this way, and nobody wants to compromise. Now, take it, there are some things that we probably shouldn't compromise on, but it's just logics. That's my little analogy, I guess, of what's going on with as far as that. Wheel burner. If I made $15,000 in 1 week, I want to make $18,000 the next. Yeah, that's you ain't gonna do that with one truck. But yeah, that's pretty much why we're all here. We're not, everybody that decides to put themselves out there and get a loan on the truck and be away from the home more and have to rely on themselves to fix their truck and be an owner, we all did this to hopefully grow and you know I'll be honest, but hopefully grow into a multi-truck carrier and be able to go out one day and be like, hey, that new Corvette over there, I want it. Here's a check for 60 or 70 or $80,000. I'm gonna put it down on this brand new Vette, and I want to drive a Vette and pull up into my $300,000 or $400,000 house. I'm not saying, now, me personally, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Me, I just want a house with like 20 acres or something on it. Maybe not in the middle of nowhere, but kind of in the middle of nowhere. But hey, that's what I aspire to. And I was hoping to build a business that would pull me out of the hole that I already got in, because I was divorced previously, and I knew this wasn't going to be a get rich quick scheme or anything like that. I was just hoping it would be, I could the actions I did and the work that I put into it, I was hoping it would dictate on how many steps I could take instead of just trying to climb the corporate ladder. Because I've tried to climb the corporate ladder many a times, and it's not like how it used to be. Unfortunately, I'm not going to say unfortunately, but probably fortunately, I was raised by, my parents. I was an oops baby, and my dad's now what, 78 years old, maybe old, yeah, 78. I want to say he was born in 42. So I was raised the old way. He saw, unions and all that stuff, and the way the steel mills and the way everything was, and I got taught that same mentality: work hard, put in the effort, and a company will look after you. Well, that's not necessarily the case anymore. So I figured I would circumvent that and try to start my own business. I tried to start my own automotive business before. Regulation, kept me out of that. Also, I partnered with somebody that apparently wasn't in it 100% like I was, so that also didn't help. And this was my next stepping stone, was to get into this and try to be an owner operator and hopefully get my own authority and start a small fleet. But I had better ambitions because things were going good a few years ago. Like I said, I'm not going to name names here or do anything. And now, for someone, logically to say everything's going better, I can't see it. Now you might have set up with certain customers and certain connections that you're doing the same or doing okay, and that's great. But I mean, I don't see, when I look at the future for my business, it's harder to map out a way to get there or see a bright future, put it that way. Before, even going back a couple years ago, even before politics turned into what it was and everything, you could think that the harder you worked and the more you did and this and that and things that you did could actually keep you going. Now you're relying on so many outside forces, it's ridiculous. Hard work might not make this work. You might have to sacrifice a lot to just stay in business, and hope and or luck might be what keeps you going. I hate to say that, it didn't used to be like that, but that's just the way it is right now. Like I said, I'm trying to keep this like an upper, and it's kind of hard to. What I'm saying is, you're going to have to make sacrifices, really, if you want to keep a business, you're going to keep it. If you're, like I said, if you already have doubts and you're already like, oh, I'm going to be making as much as a company driver soon, I had all this extra stress. If you're already thinking like that, you're going to have to sit down with yourself and determine whether or not you can back out of this and get back in easily for you, or whether or not you're going to have to push forward and that you really want to keep this business going. If that's what it is, you're going to have to do that. if you already have your doubts, and you're going to sabotage yourself, and you're going to turn what's already worse, or what's already went bad, worse, I guess you could say. Now that I went off on that tirade there, let me keep looking. Let me try to get up these comments here. Let's see. This trucking life, 8 to 14K a week before expenses. I guess that's what he was making. Oh, this trucking life, man, I need to work the oil fields. You know, I jumped into the oil fields with that real quick. Now, then again, I didn't have my own truck. But this trucking life, make sure you talk to the right people, because I seen some, like the dispatcher I had when I was as a company driver in an oil field, kind of like, you know, I was promised I was going to make $3,000 a week, blah, 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 blah. Well, when I started getting some dispatch invoices, I just kept my mouth shut and read them. They were all from Halliburton, and they were paying like $200 a load for a sand can, $300 a load, and that was up in Washington, Pennsylvania over here, and Ohio and Virginia area and all that stuff. But that was a couple years ago. You know, that the same thing goes for there. I'm sure if the market's doing bad here, I'm sure a lot of people are trying to jump over there and stuff. If you can get a connection in the oil field, maybe try to give a shout out to Andrew Jackson. You know, ask him what he thinks or who he knows and whatnot, and try to get in, you know, through an acquaintance or something. I wouldn't just jump over and move over there, because the same thing that happened with me going over to Flatbed. Everyone else followed, and if you didn't already lock in customers or lock in, you know, a lane or whatnot, it just turned into shit, just like everywhere else. And I'm sure everyone's watching Andrew Jackson and the other couple oil field channels, and they're like, oh, I'm going to go to the oil field. Well, now you flood the oil field market out, and rates drop in the oil field market, because I'm sure they're watching the spot market rates too, and they're waiting, they're waiting for, you know, people to come over there. You know, they probably got, I'm sure they got ads, are you tired of spot market rates? Come over and do oil field. And, you know they can lower their rate, you know, more and more just to get you over there. And once you're over there, you know, where are you going to go? You're going to go back to the spot market? I'm not trying to burst your bubble there or anything. I'm just saying, make sure you try to get a hold of somebody that's in it right now. Let's see. Nomadic Break. This trucking life, no, a lot of oil field drivers have come to companies like Schneider because when Biden turned the oil off, when Biden turned the oil off, they got screwed. Let's see. Shannon Thomas. Yeah, I'm in South Carolina now, heading down. Oh, hey, I'm not too far from you. I'm gonna be in North Carolina here soon. Let's see. Max talking to Shannon. Wheel burner. I'm at the point in my career where it's all about business and the money. I still love doing what I'm doing, but I'm not out here for my health. Yeah, that's for sure. I understand what you're saying, Wheel burner. Yeah, right now I would say if you're trying to come into trucking for the nostalgia, if you think you're going to make a stop in Vegas all the time and see Yellowstone National Park and take days off and stuff, and unless you have like a cash truck and cash trailer and stuff, the nostalgia of trucking is not what's going to get you through this market right now. I'm sure there's already people that have direct customers that are doing great, that can afford to do those things right now. But if you're coming into trucking because you think you're going to get a W900 and run around the country and talk a whole bunch of CB lingo, those days are gone. If you want to do that, you better have a fleet of about 40 or 50 trucks and a bunch of direct customers, and then you can decide to run around in your nice KW and stop at Yellowstone and Yosemite and Vegas and Iowa 80 and do all that crap. That's not what's going to get you through this market right now. I want to say running miles is going to probably help some guys, but even then, I've been looking at cross country stuff. In fact, I'm going to eventually knock my DAT down to the lowest level, but I kind of want to just keep it so I can at least see what the market's doing with everybody. Um, but my opinion is still this: if no matter what you are, if you're flat van, dry van, reefer. Well, reefer, your market gets a little bit bigger. But if you're flatbed and dry van, we'll go flatbed and dry van. Your best market right now to stay in is the center of the country. I would say as far south. Well, you know what? I would go into Mississippi and all that. I would do that. Southern Florida, stay out of Southern Florida. I wouldn't go any farther than Jacksonville, and you better be going in for a decent amount because you're going to end up having to go up in the Atlanta market, or at least North Carolina, to get any decent freight. The Dallas market, the Fort Worth market, I wouldn't go into Laredo and stuff unless, like I said, you're getting like $3 a mile or more, and this is for dry van. And like I said, reefer's market's a little bit bigger, but we'll say dry van and flatbed. Dry van, like I said, you still have a little wiggle room if you go out to like California or whatnot. Not much really, but like the typical fly, the Phoenix, the Arizona and stuff. You better, if you're going into them, you better have a direct customer lined up, or you better already have something lined up days in advance before you go in there, because those markets just suck. The best thing you can do is try to run shorter runs right now, center of the country. Don't go too far off the map, like in the corners of the map. Like I said, don't go all the way to the East Coast. Don't go all the way to the West Coast. Don't go into the desert, Arizona, New Mexico and stuff. Stay out of the areas that are very sparse populated, like Montana and stuff, and just try to run relays, either warehouse to warehouse or whatnot. I would say in the center of the country. Maybe go into Pennsylvania a bit. Like I said, East Pennsylvania, at least for flatbed for me, the market's very crowded. There's not enough coming out. I would not go past Pittsburgh, really, to be honest with you, if I was doing flatbed right now. But I had to, because that's where I live. If you got your TWIC, the ports are still really good for flatbed. Probably the same thing for, I would imagine, dry van. But if you're like dry van and you're closer to the coast and stuff, it might. The problem is, sure, there's still places making stuff. There's still places manufacturing stuff. The problem is the coast. There's so much capacity, and a lot of these people on the. I'm not trying to like give people a thing, but in the middle of the country, like we'll say Texas stuff, those people don't really probably look at their cell phones very much. They're not watching YouTube for 2 or 3, 4 hours a night. The guys on the East Coast, when you're sitting in your apartment or your townhouse or whatever, and you're on your couch, what are you doing? Probably watching YouTube. So you're watching all this guys talk about the money in the truck and everything, and you're working this $800 a week job, and so you go out and get your CDL and you get your truck. So now we have all these guys, all this capacity on the East Coast and on the coasts, I should say, and now the economy dropped a bit, so that's really what's driving down rates, I would say. Reefer, it's a little bit different. What I've been noticing, reefer, as long as you can get in these higher populated areas, and like even if you look hard enough and you can swap, I'm not saying you should go into Phoenix, but if you're able to get a broker and negotiate a little bit, you can at least do decent, or more than just paying for fuel coming out of Phoenix and stuff with reefer. That's basically, I can't get in, like I don't have a map. I can't get into certain lanes and whatnot, just looking at DAT. But this is what happens when you take chicken to landfill. You get a fly in your truck. the Pacific lanes I'm talking about, we'll say if you're going from New Jersey to Chicago, that's a decent lane kind of still. But like I said, there's so many carriers still in Chicago area that going into Chicago is a real pain in the ass. Now, if you're going smaller, shorter runs from Chicago into, like, let's say Kentucky, uh, they're paying a little bit decent, at least for flatbed. Like I said, I would try to, like, stay in the middle of the country and just bounce back and forth. Let's see here. Let's see, Chase. What I love about keeping up with your channel is that you're living the dream or the nightmare. I'm about to step into. Keep doing what you're doing. Hey, thanks. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm living the dream. I never thought I would get into trucking. To be honest, I went to school for automotive technology. I probably shouldn't have done it. It was more of a hobby. The old man did some of it. I should have went into electrical. I liked it. I don't know. I just figured I figured I could move over into it at a different time. I don't know. But really, me having a divorce is what got me into trucking. I figured I would had them. I ended up moving. I tried finding a job. She was supposed to move to South Carolina. I moved down there before her. She pretty much said that's where she was moving. And I wanted to see the kids and still be around because pretty much the court was on her side with everything. And I ended up getting my apartment and everything and moved down there and looked for a job. And I had a job lined up. I was going to work the port in Wilmington, North Carolina. And certain things fell through, something with the union. They had a hiring freeze while I was trying to get hired on into the port. And I got screwed out of that. So now I'm sitting here with an apartment, furnished apartment and everything, in little where was I at? Little River, South Carolina. She decided to change her mind because her mom got sick and stayed up there. So now I'm sitting down here. I'm like, what can I do down here by Myrtle Beach that's going to pay the bills? And I saw an ad for Prime, and I knew somebody that his dad worked for Swift, and he got a CDL, and he was doing really well. So I've said, screw it, I'll get my CDL, and that way, no matter if I have to go anywhere, I could find a job. And that's how that came about. And then I had the ambition of, like I said, I almost had my own auto repair business, so I figured I would take that same ambition and apply it to trucking. And I've had so many ups and downs with things outside my control that this is just where I am right now. And when I did this YouTube thing, I didn't want to come on here and bullshit everybody and say it was like the best thing ever and everything. I kind of wanted to be real about it. And right now, I will say, yeah, I guess I almost, maybe not a blowout, but I'm a decent major repair away of being screwed. Maybe I even having to not have to ask for money. I mean, if I had to take money out of the savings at home, the big thing is the wife. I'm trying to explain how this is going here. I pretty much when with the wifey, I pretty much came up with a thing when I decided to go into this full hand and buy the truck outright and all this crap. Whether or not this would be profitable. And I told her that I wouldn't have to go into personal savings or affect the personal part of our, bills or whatnot to keep this going. Well, I'm already there and actually past it. And things are starting to get a little rough, not relationship-wise, but, fighting about shit, business-wise that, like I said, if anything really to happen, I'm pretty much done. I have to... I gave it my all, I guess you could say. It's not that bad. the truck will get probably repossessed, or I'll have to give it back or whatnot. And I still have payments on this. I only technically have a little over a year and a half now to pay for the truck, so I really don't want to do that. Like I said, I got a cheap payment. It's only $890 a month. So, like I said, I'm gonna be real. I'm not doing really good. Like I said, I should have done this move months ago instead of hung on here and hope for the best. And it just kept going down and down and down. But like I said, there's other things that were hurting me. One, I didn't get a real good fuel discount at the carrier. I was using mud flap, but you can only use that, especially when you get in the East Coast, you only use it so much. Let's see, just normal things. Shit happens. And I made this move, and so far it looks like it's going all right. Like I said, as long as nothing happens bad or dramatically, I'll be able to dig myself out of this hole and keep moving forward. So, like I said, I'll put that out there that I'm probably in the same boat as a good amount of other guys are right now. Maybe I'm in a better boat now. I got bigger paddle, I guess you want to say, but I'm not doing good. I hate saying that. A lot of people say I have good advice and I know what I'm doing, and I seem like I'm well rounded and business wise, but sometimes you can do that and you still have the unforeseen things happen. It still happens. Shit happens. I'm Polish. It's just what happens. So that being said, the worst thing you do is start just saying to yourself, oh, I'll just let things get repoed. I'll just go back to company. Because as soon as you do that, your whole mentality changes, and you're not willing to sacrifice. You're not willing to put the 110% in, and that's when things really start going south for you. Let's see, back at the chats here. Let's see, Nomadic Brick, Jackknife. I have to say, stay positive. Just realize that shit hits the fan. And the Brits can sort some yeah. The Brits and Canadians can sort some things out. Let's see, Ed. We all need to sit down and smoke a cigar together. I'm fixing a burn this. Oh, I have no idea. I hate to say I'm illiterate here, Ed, but maybe I am a little bit. Oh, I guess he's talking about a cigar. Oh yeah, you guys are smoking fancy cigars. Yeah, I'm not all into that. Yo, what's up, DIY Semi? DIY's in the house. Check his channel out. Hey, anybody that I'm sure that's usually what everybody's. We've all seen Cash. We've all seen DIY. We're all part of this little group. But I mean, if you're new and you're just watching this, check out Cash and DIY. There's a lot of good information in both those channels. I guess I just wanted to bring with this live. I don't know what I was trying to do. I was trying to bring some positivity, and try to give out some helpful hints and tips. Like I said, even though I'm giving them out, as you can see, I'm not exactly succeeding. I mean, I guess I'm still here, I'm still going, but sometimes you can have everything go right and still, just have a decent breakdown. All you have to do is have a part not come in for like a couple weeks, and you're hemorrhaging money like no tomorrow. And when you got labor rates that are like $150 an hour, $200 an hour, it doesn't take long for that stuff to add up. Simple repairs are like 3 times more than what they usually are anymore, especially if you're going to TA and stuff like that. I'd like to say that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but I guess there's not necessarily. At least you'll be able to get through the tunnel. What I'm saying is what's going to happen. Um, if you're new, if you're coming into this, don't buy a truck. Like I said, unless you have lots of money and you already have customers lined up, you already have connections. This is not the market just to wing it, not know your cost and stuff, and just jump on in. You're gonna have to sacrifice stuff. Like today, today I've been doing like 60 mile an hour where I've been going. Keeping the RPMs under about 1500 RPM. Yeah, 1500 while shifting. Everything I can do to save fuel. So far, I'm up to like 600 and some miles out of 100 gallons, and I'm surprised because I've been running 13 and 1 and 13 through Delaware and into Maryland and Virginia there, which is all, you know, you'll get going like 55 mile an hour, and then you'll go like a couple miles and hit a light, and then you'll go a couple miles and hit a light. So I'm surprised I'm getting that well of mileage, especially since I don't have a flaring on my roof. This is a mid roof, and I'm pulling a reefer now, which, you know, I can feel that it's not as bad as I thought I would be. I think I'm trying to calculate it, like the fuel out as much as I can. But the problem is my gauge. I have an older truck, so the gauge isn't, even though it's a new sending unit, it's not as predictive as a newer truck. You know, the gauge kind of wanders a little bit and stuff. So I'm trying to, you know, I didn't fill the truck up when I was in Pennsylvania because I didn't want to buy the, you know, the more expensive fuel. So I'm trying to gauge what my fuel mileage is. I think I'm right around like 6.8 to 7 miles a gallon, which is amazing for me being a mid-roof pulling this reefer. But my fuel surcharge with this carrier right now, pretty much as long as I can do 6 miles a gallon or more, I'm making money off the fuel surcharge. So we'll see how this keeps going. I might buy a fender, a flare, a roof flare. These 4900s for some reason look kind of goofy and ugly with a roof flare, but hey, if it saves me fuel, you know, I guess maybe I'll do it. I can find one used for like $300-400. It's white, and the big thing, whether or not these star bits bolts will come out of the roof for me to put this flaring back on. The same thing, I gotta buy a new bumper anyway. Maybe when I buy a new bumper, there's another flaring that I can put underneath the bumper that I guess helps the air jump over the axle, the front axle there. I'm going to try to do some aerodynamic things. It all depends whether or not I start making money again. If I don't make money, well, I don't know how well these YouTube videos are going to be going here soon, because you know, it'll be, hey, here's Kevin as a company driver again, or maybe there's another option I have. I might end up having to go back to being a lease purchase owner operator or whatever, do my utility pole thing. But you know, like I said, I'm not really looking, you know, I'm trying to look beyond that. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep doing this as long as I can. That's why I made this transition. Like I said, I held in there, you know, a little bit too long. I should have made this transition sooner. I guess maybe I felt what do we want to call it? Like a duty to the carrier I was with, or a kind of camaraderie. You know, they took care of me before. And I felt like I had to, you know, kind of return the favor. So I stayed with them as long as I could, and kind of was hoping the rates would come back a little bit or fuel would go down, and it just didn't happen. In fact, I probably should have, maybe I could have went back to reefer and still did okay with them, but I was looking for something with more certainty. That's the big thing right now. It's not necessarily the amount of money you're making, it's the certainty that the load's going to be there, the certainty that you're going to, you know, make around that kind of paycheck, the repetitiveness, you know. What was basically happening is I would take a load into a good area, I would get there, and depending on the day of week, you know, everyone else got in the same area, and the market would be flooded. And so now you're sitting there negotiating with brokers, doing the kind of the email bidding crap that they've been doing lately. I had a lot of loads getting canceled on me, sometimes a little bit after I book it, sometimes after I drove an hour there. Brokers were being real pain in the butt with giving tonneau and everything. When you sit there through half the day, or especially like, let's say you go home for the weekend and you're there on Monday morning, or you try to get a load Friday and you go to pick it up Monday morning, you show up to the shipper and they said, oh, we canceled that load, and you're there at like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and then you got to get a hold of the broker and whatnot. The feeling of having to drive out to the truck for the 20 minutes, so you have that extra time to sit in the truck and go through the broker, the load board, and call these brokers up and play phone tag with them and everything. When you start getting around like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the middle of the day, and you still haven't got a load yet, and the loads that you're looking at are like $1.50 a mile for a flatbed tarp load that weighs 48,000 pounds, that's when you start getting that anxiety feeling that I need to take a load, I need to make something today. I still have a trailer payment to pay for. I still have the carrier, like if you're signed on with somebody, you still have those carrier bills. You still have let's say if you have your authority, you still have the insurance to pay. You still have, the IFTA, the taxes and all that stuff. You still all that stuff still keeps adding up. Let's see. Chase, you adapt and keep going. Seeing you get beat down plenty of times, you overcome. Yep. Shannon saying hi to DIY. Devin Smith, what's going on, man? You good? Did you leave? Did you leave? You know who? I don't know if you're talking to me, Devin, or you're talking to somebody else. If you're talking about AFC Transport, I mean, yeah, I left them. I mean, like, I had nothing bad to say about them. It's just the way their business model was and everything, and the economy and the way the market went. It, maybe if more guys left there, there would have been more customer freight to go around. They just grew too fast, and I guess they weren't really anticipating this to happen either. It's nothing against them as a carrier. They left me alone. I did my thing. If I had problems, they were there for me. The shop guys were there for me. They were $65 an hour labor rate. It's just I just like I said, I made an evaluation, and like I said, I should have did this a little bit sooner. I should have left maybe a month ago sooner, instead of tried hanging in there when I could see that, my settlements were getting less and less, and it was harder and harder to find loads, and I was having to push myself to take stuff that was when you're doing flatbed and you're looking at flatbed loads that are $1.50 a mile with tarp and stuff, and you start realizing you might actually have to take this stuff just to get you out of the area. Or even worse, when you pull up the load board and you're in Hazleton, Pennsylvania, and in 100 miles there's only 90 flatbed loads at 9 o'clock in the morning, and you're deciding whether or not you're going to drive to Philadelphia for $1.80 a mile, drive down the turnpike to go into Philadelphia to pick up a flatbed load going into North Carolina for $1.80 a mile. That's when things start weighing on you, when you don't have that abundant freight, when you're pressured, you start being put into a corner. That's when you start saying, hey, I just rather go home. And that's what I started doing. It just didn't make business sense to me. And when it starts getting that bad, that's when you start having problems. When you start looking at the load board and looking at the rates and are just like, where these loads are going to, am I going to be able to profit, even though there's a lot of guys that'll just go highest rate, and I'm looking at this as flatbed because this is what I was doing here for a while recently, so that's what I kind of still know the market for flatbed is. I'll be in Hazleton, and yeah, sure, I could take a insulation load maybe out of Williamsport or something and go up into Connecticut or Boston for $2,000 or $2,500, Great. So now I take this insulation load and I go up there for $2,000. So what? It's paying like $4 a mile, maybe $3 a mile. So now I'm up there, and who knows what might happen. You might get there, you might have to wait. Now you're up there. So now you're up there with everybody else that just went out and picked the highest rate and drove up into New England too with all these other flag guys. So now you're up there and you're looking around and you're looking at loads for lumber going out for $1 a mile to, I don't know, they'll go out to like Michigan, into the northern Michigan or something, or they'll go into like, they'll go out into New York. We're talking about like, trying to think like Philadelphia, New York, stuff, in the middle of nowhere. And, there's nothing going back into Pennsylvania, nothing going west. A lot of stuff wants to go, maybe local, maybe you might get to the Connecticut port over there or whatnot. But most likely, if you want to run back for less than a loss, you're going to have to take one of those like 68-cent or $1 a mile loads, or maybe $1.25 mile loads. And some of them are even going back into a bad area like North Carolina or something if you have flatbed. That's just what, don't put yourself in those situations. Now, if I went up there and I had a direct customer that was paying enough and I could deadhead back or had something where I knew every day I could go up into New England for, $2,000 or $2,500 and come back for, I don't know, $800 or something. Yeah, sure, I would do that. But to do that and then come back and, be stuck sitting all day and make up your mind it's not worth your time even to start the truck up and drive somewhere. That's when you start having problems. That's when you start getting in that mentality, that mindset of this freaking blows. The next thing you know, you don't even want to freaking drive out to the truck and look on the load board. You're just fed up with it. Let's see, Sterling, how heavy is your freight? Well, the first load I took out of Pottsville was empty. I did like 280 miles at I guess $2.43 a mile plus fuel surcharge. I drove around with an empty trailer for $3, a little over $3 a mile. I think the load of scrap chicken I took to the landfill, I think, was 43,000 pounds. To be honest, with this truck, and if I keep the tanks like almost empty, like if I only put 100 gallons in, I could probably put, I don't know about these trailers, but the trailer I had before, I could probably put 48,000 pounds on it, and if I got a scale, I could scale it out and be okay. I got plenty of room behind my my fifth wheel here to slide the fifth wheel up. I think when I'm empty, I think there's like 9,500 pounds on my front axle or something like that. Like, there's no weight on my front axle at all. Like, this truck is very light, so I don't have the 3,000 pounds of emission scrap sitting on it. So that's, it makes a difference in that thing. Let's see, Devin Smith, I'm still here struggling. Yeah, a lot of people are still struggling right now, and it's hard to make that that jump, especially if you've done so good at a carrier that you're with right now, or if you know them or had a relationship with them. It's hard to want to have to go and fill out a fill out a packet. If you got your authority, work out the insurance, the insurance with at least like with this carrier, it's and then know that you might have a week or two that you're not going to have any money coming in, maybe because you're making that transition to a new carrier. You might just have to bite the bullet. That's what I did. That's really what held me up, as I ended up having to drive the trailer all the way back to Chicago because I ended up back on the East Coast, and I had a 150-mile radius set up outside let's see, outside of Hazleton, and I could not find any loads going back to Chicago. The closest thing I could find to a load that was going past or around Chicago was going into, where was it? Minneapolis, Minnesota, I think it was. And I needed to be back on Monday for orientation for this place. So Thursday and Friday went by, and I couldn't get anything back towards Chicago. I probably would have, maybe I could have drove. I actually, you know what? Even on my way driving, I started driving Thursday afternoon, and I was in Pittsburgh and stuff, and I still couldn't find anything going back towards Chicago. And then I had a load that I was going to take into Indiana. The problem though is the time that they wanted me to deliver it and stuff, and the time I picked it up, it wasn't going to work. So yeah, I basically had to put my own fuel in the truck because I didn't use their fuel card. I'm not one of those guys that's gonna, fill my truck up with your fuel card and then bail on you. So so I didn't use their fuel card. I used my own money. I think I spent like, let's see, I ended up having a 1,000-mile round trip. So I ended up spending like $800 in fuel, my own money. And I had to go out there and come back empty. Pretty much a bobtail back. I dropped the trailer off. I actually didn't get there until Saturday. I wanted to be there Friday. I actually talked to the people that were there and say bye and stuff. I dropped everything off in the shop, my card and my Best Pass and all that stuff, and I left. So like I said, you are going to lose money transitioning. Maybe a week you might lose, maybe a 2. It all depends. There for a while, I had a little bit of a problem with the plate because Texas did not want to accept my my electronic title, because now everything's electronic title. I don't know if the pandemic caused that or whatever. The title doesn't get printed until like the loan's done, and then Pennsylvania will print the title up and whatnot. But now I ended up sending them a receipt that was stamped by the state, and they accepted the electronic title, or that would have held me up. If I would have got held up another 2 or 3 weeks with no income coming in, I don't know. Definitely couldn't make the truck payment. I mean, I could have. I'd have to take out of the savings account for the house and everything. But then, I have someone to answer to, my boss, my wife. So, like she said, they're supposed to be making me money, not costing me money. Am I missing? Am I missing chats here? This truck and wife said DIY. Hello, but DIY hasn't. Let's see. He was 10:25. It's now. I don't know what time it is. All right. So the last comment I got, guys. I don't know if anybody can comment, but the last comment I got is this truck and life. At 10:49. Am I losing people, or is my signal going bad? Am I not getting anybody? I don't know. Somebody comment. There we go. That's correct. I'm wondering if I don't got good service right now. All right, so now the last comment I got is Will Burner. I wonder if if the comments aren't updating fast enough or something's going on here. Well, I don't know. I've been rambling now almost 2 hours. If anybody in the comments got anything they want to add, maybe some suggestions. The only thing I can really think of right now is cut your costs as much as you can. That includes home time. Includes home. You might have to stay out longer, maybe less home time and stuff. Um, yeah, cut your costs and make yourself available more. And you know, if you believe you can make more at a different carrier, or doing something that's out of your norm, do it. Look into it, research it, run your numbers, and just do it. If you're really serious, you're gonna, you know, if you already think you're gonna fail, take a shot. Switch carriers, do something. What you know, you prolong it maybe a little bit longer. That's all that's gonna happen. Maybe you'll come out on top, maybe you won't. It all depends. Um, oh, geez, you're all the way out in Bighorn, Montana. Yeah. All right. No problem, Ed. You know, be safe out there. I'm pretty sure Bighorn, it's probably snowing out there. So, all right. Well, it's 2 hours. I'm gonna wrap it up. I gotta be up at what, 4 o'clock in the morning. I only got a half-hour drive down to the Walmart down here. Um, I got some footage. I haven't really taken many, you know, much video, much B-roll, because the places I've been going to mostly Tyson Plants, and you know, they got the chickens there and everything, and they really don't want videotaping, you know, in case the climate control, you know, the climate or animal rights people or whatever, or you know, they don't need any publicized bull crap. So I haven't really whipped out the camera much. I might, you know, once they get to know me, I might start taking more films. Yeah, more B-roll. I have a little bit of B-roll of me going over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge / tunnel. I haven't really, I mean, I've been running. I haven't really had a chance to really stop. The other night I ended up, I ended up taking my 10-hour break at the plant. The load got done at 2 o'clock in the morning. The lady called me because I told her just leave me a voicemail that the load's ready and where they're putting the trailer. She called me, told me where the trailer was. I woke up at 8 o'clock with my clock reset and went and got the trailer and then, did my thing. So like I said, so far, like I said, for reefer, this has been pretty nice, pretty easy. I guess I'm gonna, I'll try to figure something out. Like the last flatbed video, I was trying to think of how I could make content now that I'm doing this, because it's pretty much what ain't like I'm running nothing different. It's going to be chicken no matter what I run, and the loads aren't different, so I'm going to have to try to figure out the way to make this kind of more entertaining, maybe more educational, and go from there. All right, I'll quit rambling on. I see there's only about 8 people. If you can, hit the thumbs up on the way out, and maybe I'll try to sit down and make a dedicated video on ways to cut costs, either through your business, trucking, and with your authority or with not out your authority, and maybe ways to cut costs at home. Put it this way, it's always easier to sell something if you can than it is to have somebody repossess it. It's always easier to go out on your terms than it is to go out on somebody else's terms. So if that's where you're finding yourself in that, in that kind of corner, or a rock in a hard place, call some of these creditors up. Call your truck company up. Maybe they can, let you slide on a, move a payment to the back of the loan or something, just to give you that little bit of breathing room to maybe, make a change or improve your operation or something. Just try it, because I know a lot of those banks are ready for people to start foreclose, well, not foreclosing, but stop making their payments and default on their loans. Call them up. Ask them if they can move a payment to the back of the loan, just to give you a little bit of wiggle room to either change carriers or do something. maybe try to sit down and write up a better business plan, or really look into your cost and just try to fix that, dig your way out of the hole that you're in. So, all right, well, that's it. I'm going to get out of here. Everyone stay safe. I'm going to probably try to kill this fly and go to bed. So, have a good night, everybody. I'll see you. Stay safe out there, Ed. See you, Wheel Burner. See you, Sterling, DIY. Everyone, thank you for coming in here and giving a thumbs up. And if you can, please share and support the channel as much as you can. I guess that's all I can ask for. I know I try, but it is what it is. So have a good night, everybody. I'll see you.